Shabbat Shalom. Call hello Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bahashim Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that told us the truth. And Shabbat Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. All right, this is going to be a quick lesson dealing with how this man is going to destroy himself, because the thief cometh not but to steal and to kill. Let's get that. The thief, right, cometh not. Okay, first we have to qualify who the thief is. All right. Well, the thief is Esau Edom. John 10:10, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. Why? That is the way that the Most High made this devil. All right? He's a thief, and he's pre-programmed to do a couple of things. To steal. He's a murderer from the beginning. And to destroy. This is what he does. He can come and steal your land, murder a bunch of people, take all the natural resources, okay? That's his MO, his modus operandi. That's the only thing he can do. And when he has everything, when he has control of everything, he's ruling the world, right? And then he got to create something that he can steal. And people, you got to set somebody up who he can murder, because that's what makes him tick. Okay, he's not satisfied. He's not happy unless he's out, taking, destroying, causing, wreaking havoc. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. Okay, that's Yahweh Shai coming for the nation of Israel. All right, starting with the elect. But the thief, this is Esau, all right? When you understand that that's how the Most High made this devil, and he can't, he's a one-trick pony, okay? He's the murderer. He's the thief. That's all he's programmed to do, all right? Now, from there, we go to Obadiah, all right? Obadiah 1:18, and the house, all right, focus on that word house, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau. Okay? I'm just showing you, I'm using this scripture to show you the house. Okay? The house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. All right? Now, we go from there to, what was it, Mark? Salakia. Okay. Go to Mark 3 and start at 25. Okay. Now, what is this? A house. A house divided. Right now, the focus is on the house of Esau. This is Mark 3 and 25. And if a house, right, be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. All right. Now, what is another word for Satan? Edom. All right. The devil. That old dragon. Okay. And if Satan rise up against himself, what does that mean? You can substitute this word for Edom, for Esau, for the wicked, for the dragon, that old serpent, the devil, and Satan. Okay? This is specifically talking about the nation of Edom. So if the Edomites rise up against themselves and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. And what we see right now is the Most High got this devil biting his own tail. Okay? The Edomites are fighting amongst themselves because they, first of all, that's what they do. They kill, they murder, they steal. Now, because there's nobody else to do it to, they got to do it to themselves. Even though they have alliances with the other nations. Let's get this real quick. This is Revelation 20. Let's qualify Satan. All right. Let's go to 12. Sorry. Let's go to 12. I'm going to shoot over there like this real quick. Okay. Now, when we read this, the war in heaven, okay? And this is just to get a perspective on all of these names, including the wicked, that belong to the house of Edom, or the house of Esau. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, the great red dragon. And the dragon fought in his angels and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. Here's the point. And the great dragon, the great red dragon, was cast out. So we got one. The great dragon is talking about the nation of Esau. Right? The Romans in that case. That old serpent, the one in the garden, right, whose spirit goes from Cain to Esau, called the devil and called Satan. Okay? See that? Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. That's what he does. He's a liar from the beginning. All right? That's all I want. Now we've qualified Satan. Satan is the devil. He's called the devil. He's that old serpent. And he's the great red dragon. This is talking about the nation of Edom. He's also the wicked. We all know that. See? Right here. Revelation 12 and 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, heaven on earth. And behold, a great red dragon. Who is that? The Roman Empire. This is talking about the Edomites. Okay? And the dragon, the great red. Who's red? Who came out red all over like a hairy government? What color is this guy right here? He's red. We all eat that hot sauce. What is it called? It's not called brown devil. All right? Satan. The wicked. All right? Now we go to Mark. Okay, we got the house. The house of who? Esau is divided against himself. Then we go here. And if Satan, who's Satan? The house of Esau, rise up against himself, against his own people, Edomites, and be divided, He cannot stand but hath an end. Okay? And that's how you rightly divide the word of truth. All right, so let's watch this. Okay, now what do we have here? Now, before we watch this, all right, we did that big dissertation on Esau. But see, Esau has a confederation. Let's get there real quick. Psalm 83. And these guys are all together. They're supposed to be, all right, this is the NWO scripture or passage, whatever you want to call it. All right, so in the first, the Psalms 83 and 1, this is talking about the Most High. Keep not thou silence, O God, hold not that peace, be not still, O God. So this is about the Most High. And then right here, we find out that the Most High has enemies. For lo, thine enemies, plural, not one, make a tumult. And they, all right, and it's going to name them off, that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden. That's us. That's the nation of Israel. That's us. We're the Most High's people. All right? So, what have they done? They have consulted together. They came together. Who? One consent, they are confederate. All right? This is the New World Order. Who's in it? Start with the Edomites. There they are, and they're right here too. Okay? You got the so-called white man, the red devil. You got the Arabs, and you got the Chinese and the Africans. Okay? Japanese. All right? Now we go here. Crux channel yesterday, MI5. All right, this is MI5 is equivalent, is the British equivalent to the FBI. MI6 is the British equivalent to the CIA. All right, correct me if I'm wrong. What is this on its face? These are clandestine operations, right, hidden. They don't come out and say, MI5 and FBI's joint warning, huh? On China. This is Moab. Wait a minute, what about the alliance? Okay, what's going on here? Shows Xi Jinping is a bigger threat to U.S.-led West than Putin. Wait a minute. Let's count up the Edomites in this equation. Edomite, MI5, Edomite, FBI, Edomite, Vlad, Edomite, U.S., Edomite, Xi, Moabite. But they're Confederate. Since when do these people come out and tell us what they're doing? This stinks on its face, so let's listen to it.
Doing so to send the clearest signal. Today is the first time the heads of the FBI and MI5 have shared a public platform.
Stop. Huh? Wait a minute. Every word out of this devil's mouth is a lie. What does CIA excel in? Lying. Okay? MI6 is where you get 007. Okay? And they turn this guy into some kind of hero. These organizations, right, are the most demonic. Look at the demons. Look at the red devil. Look at Satan. You believe anything that's coming out? Now you're coming out to tell us something that you want us to know. What do you want us to know? Certainly not the truth. Listen to this. This is the first time we ever came out and said something to the public. Huh? Today is the first time the heads of the FBI and MI5 have shared a public platform. What? You speak with forked tongue from the jump. We're supposed to believe this? This is a classic F flag, or false F.
Today is the first time the heads of the FBI and MI5 have shared a public platform. We're doing so to send the clearest signal we can on a massive shared challenge: China.
It is rather very rare for the heads of two of the most secretive and powerful intelligence agencies to come together for a joint press conference. The heads of Britain's security service, the MI5, and the US Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, they had a joint press conference a few days ago seeking to disperse this fog with a rare joint press conference.
This fog? Come on. I'm going to let it play. If I keep stopping it, we'll never get through.
Days ago, seeking to disperse this fog with a rare joint press conference. The objective of this rare event was to warn about the coming China threat.
We consistently see that it's the Chinese government that poses the biggest long-term threat to our economic and national security. And by our, I mean both of our nations along with our allies in Europe and elsewhere. And I want to be clear that it's the Chinese government and the Chinese Communist Party that pose the threat.
Now, such public speeches by the heads of intelligence services are not as rare as they used to be, but they are uncommon. In fact, this was the first time that the head of MI5 and the head of FBI were coming together for a joint press conference.
What is going on here? How do you put this together?
Optics of this shared public platform was to underline the magnitude and the importance of the message that they were delivering. That while the West may currently be obsessed with Russia and its invasion of Ukraine, the real long-term and consistent threat is going to come from Beijing. The question is the West ready for it? On Crux Decode, what is the realistic threat from China, and how should Western governments prepare themselves for it?
Slovakia. Bear with me for a moment. Here we
go. The MI5 Director General Ken McCullum has said in the briefing that they are now dealing with 7 times the number of investigations involving China as compared to just 4 years ago.
The most game-changing challenge we face comes from the Chinese Communist Party. It's covertly applying pressure across the globe. This might feel abstract, but it's real and it's pressing. We need to talk about it. We need to act.
It's not just the fear of a direct military confrontation, but more in the areas of cyber warfare, artificial intelligence, global trade networks and supply chains. There are a whole gamut of issues aside of hard military power where China can confront and take on the West. And
meaning asymmetric warfare. Let's go back. See how they just glossed over this right here? Watch this.
Of cyber warfare, artificial intelligence, global trade.
Global what? Who owns all of the ports in Babylon the Great America? Remember this? Oh, well, all the supply chain and the shipping ports are on lock, and we can't. The ships are out there; they won't let them in. Why? Because China owns our ports. Things that make you go, All right? So what is this piece of propaganda in its entirety? What happened to the NWO?
Networks and supply chains. There are a whole gamut of issues aside of hard military power where China can confront and take on the West. And China.
Okay, so you got to have a supply chain in order to fight a war. You got to have energy. You got to have oil. You got to have jet fuel. Okay, you got to have gas. You have to have electricity. You have to have natural gas. You have to have weapons. You have to have food to feed the troops, ammunition. Okay, a lot of things go into a world war. And this is what you see going on right now. All of this is propaganda. Propaganda is part of the war machine, right? You got to get the people on your side. Well, not only now that we've completely demonized in the last 7 months, we've made Vlad out to be worse than the guy with the short mustache in World War II. Okay? Putler. All right? Now we got to go after Xi. Why? They're fighting over who's going to control the NW. Now, everybody is still on course to bring in that charagma. Vlad got his charagma on course. Xi has his charagma. They're ahead of everybody, right? Remember Wuhan? Okay. And how they got everybody to take that jumper? All right. So there's something simultaneous going on. They're infighting, right? There's infighting in the whole plan, the NWO, letting you know it's not going to come together. All right, because really, they're all convinced that the NWO is a house. Even though they're different nations, they came together in a covenant, and it's fallen apart.
Indeed, has some leverage in some of these areas. Russia's sole theater of war vis-a-vis NATO is by and large restricted to military hard power. China, though, has a vast array of assets at its disposal. So the question is, will Xi Jinping take a leaf out of Vladimir Putin's playbook and use the same modus operandi for a future attack on Taiwan? Now, the significant thing that the two intelligence heads, the heads of MI5 and FBI, were saying to a global audience, and particularly to Western governments, is do not repeat the same mistakes with China that were made with Russia. European countries like Germany were sucked into deep relationships with Russia over gas, and now they are struggling to extract themselves out of it. In fact, more than 40% of German gas used to come from Russia. China can offer similar enticements, but they should be weighed up carefully because China, for one, the invasion of Ukraine has provided substantial intelligence about how the West may respond militarily, economically, and politically if China were to invade Taiwan. They know that the Western response will largely be a package of sanctions. There's going to be cyber operations against key infrastructure, as well as direct military support.
But who's benefiting from those sanctions? It's not hurting Vlad. He's making more money than they ever have, right? And he's the one launching all the cyber warfare, right? Shutting down U.S. pipelines and things, dams and other things, and about to shut the lights down, right? So these sanctions are doing what? They're backfiring.
There will be the usual attempts at the United Nations and other global fora to try and ostracize China, just like they've done with Russia. Chinese mitigation can now be built into these military plans. China knows what exactly it will get in response. The West, though, has no window into China's plans if they were indeed set on attacking Taiwan. Now, later this year, the Chinese Communist Party will be celebrating the 20th Party Congress. This happens once every 5 years, and this year's is extra special for the Chinese president. This fall, Xi Jinping will be elevated to the position of chairman of the Chinese Communist Party. He will also get a third term as president, for which the constitution was amended. In fact, he will be the only Chinese leader after the founder of the PRC, Mao Zedong, to be referred to as chairman. Now, Xi Jinping will not want any negative publicity before this gala event.
going to speak about the Olympics and how Vlad waited until the Beijing Olympics were over before he
Xi
struck.
has publicly said that Taiwan needs to be reintegrated with mainland before the end of this decade. Now, 2027 happens to be the 100th anniversary of the founding of the Chinese People's Liberation Army. One of Xi Jinping's first edicts post his elevation as chairman of the CCP could be a direction to the Chinese People's Liberation Army to reunify Taiwan before this 100th anniversary. Putin delayed the invasion of Ukraine until after the Winter Olympics in February of 2022. This was because Vladimir Putin was the chief guest at the Winter Games, and both Putin and Xi had declared their limitless friendship.
Limitless friendship. So these guys are allies. All right, we're not making it to 2027. Sorry. This thing's going to blow up a lot quicker than that. You got to do something about that gas, that pipeline over there. All right? You ain't getting that gas, you're going to freeze. Something's got to go down. Why did Japan attack Pearl Harbor? Oil, energy. Okay? If people are going to starve and die, right, you got to do something. You got to poke that bear, and it's going to bring the panda is going to go straight with the bear. They're both bears. The panda is a bear, all right? Poking both of them bears.
And both Putin and Xi had declared their limitless friendship. But in allowing the invasion of Ukraine, China made Russia more dependent on Beijing than ever before. It has enabled the European Union to volunteer to have a millstone of a
shit.
Marshall Plan.
What is this? You see this? In the spirit, what is this? What do you see? I just saw this right now. Isn't this what Cain offered to the Most High? You see this? Cain tried to bring some vegetables, some plants, not the firstling of them. This is exactly what this represents. Okay? These motherfuckers hate the Most High.
For Ukraine placed around its neck. Meanwhile, Russia is weakened, but China may regain its economic power post-COVID with the potential to become the most economically important nation in the world. Now, the territorial threat.
Now, see, he just made reference to who's going to run the NWO. That's what that was. The clandestine. Russia has become weak, but China may regain its economic power post. Listen to what he says. They're going to emerge as the superpower, if you will, of the NWO. No, nigga, it's not going to go down like that.
Meanwhile, Russia is weakened, but China may regain its economic power post-COVID with the potential to become the most economically important nation in the world.
Hear that? All right, enough. Enough of that. All right? Now, here's what's going to happen. We'll get this and close on it. Just wanted to bring that out and show you the posturing and the, what the plan. Here's the plan, right? Why? This is Psalm 83 and 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Why? Why? Because they know who's got next. All right, let's go to the Apocrypha real quick. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 6. All right, here's what they know. Start at 7. 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Okay, the end of Esau. Well, let's read on. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So there it is right there. It doesn't say nothing about Moab coming in between this handoff. We're going from Esau straight to Jacob. From Edom straight to Israel. Let's prove it. And then we'll close. This is the New World Order. Okay? Esau is the end of the world. Where is it? Esau is the end of the world. Okay? Jacob is the NWO, the beginning after this one goes down. End of the world is the old world order. The beginning, what happens at the beginning? It's new. NWO. All right? Here's the NWO. Isaiah 14:1, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. And set them in their own land, the land of Israel, proper. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. All Israelites. And the people shall take them. We're going to take them and bring them to their place. We're going to bring all the other nations near round about us because we got to put them to slavery. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. Got to put your ass to work to build up the kingdom. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. We're going to have the dominion. And you're going to build up the kingdom for us at the crack of a whip. This is the New World Order. For the Lord hath spoken it. All right? And his word doesn't come back void. All right, so with that, we see what they're trying to do. Okay? This is a head fake. These two devils, these two demons right here. All right? We know what you're up to. And this is a weak Hail Mary that ain't coming to fruition. All right? So with that, we hope that the elect were edified. You brothers and few sisters, and with that, we say Shabbat Shalom.